My name is Chloe Freeland. I am white, I use she, her pronouns, and I am a senior at Corning Painted Post High School. And so today we're just going to be talking a little bit about role models and also your position as a coach on the Elmira Express football team. And kind of how that relates to Ernie Davis and kind of the impact that Ernie Davis has as well on the Elmira Express football team. And so, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am Jimmy McCauley. I'm 36 years old. I teach in the Elmira City School District. I teach math. This is my 14th year teaching, and I've been coaching the entire time. Started out as a JV coach for Southside before we merged, and then kind of worked my way up. And then I've been the varsity coach for Elmira for, I think this is my 10th year ish. I have a family. I have a beautiful wife, Stacy. We have two kids, Avery and Colton. Avery just turned 10 and Colton's 8. I moved to the area when I was in second grade. I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I'm kind of, I've been here pretty much my whole life. That's me. I'm super excited to kind of talk about this.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Starting off with more like the football role model aspect of this conversation, how do you feel that like the rising popularity of professional athletes and college athletes has an impact on your team, especially when these athletes kind of express their opinions and use their popularity as a way to help social movements and progress and stuff like that?
Obviously, with the technology now, everybody pretty much has a cell phone that can access pretty much anything. You have a computer in your hands. So I think that puts, like you mentioned, those athletes with the popularity, kind of these kids have access to the newsworthy events. And, I think it's really just shows that how much power people do have. And, whether it's talking about a social movement or voicing their opinions, I do think it's really cool for these young kids to see, kind of right in front of their face, a basketball player, a football player can have thoughts and opinions and, might not agree with everyone or might not kind of go with the grain, but, to have the kind of be brave and you have to kind of really, really go out on a limb sometimes. And I think it's important that these kids see that.
How does it feel kind of to have these players go on and continue playing football and possibly being that role model for someone else as Ernie Davis was like 60 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you, it's super important for me. So I'll be honest, the feelings I have when we have kids that go on and play at the next level, one, it's I'm super happy. I'm so happy for that kid, because now he's got a bunch of other opportunities, a bunch of doors have just opened for him. But I'm also, I'd be lying if I didn't say this. I'd be also proud. Like I'm proud that what we're doing is working. It's allowing kids for the opportunity to grow and see what else is out there. And to kind of further that, like you said, when that kid goes and, he has an opportunity to be a role model. My son in particular, he's 8 years old. He's our ball boy. My son has 42 role models that he's, right in the trenches with on game days. And it's awesome. He looks up to them. He knows their names and numbers, and he'll talk to me after the game about, oh, did you see number 26 do this? And did you see number 2 do that? And he loves it. And, the kids are great to him. They absolutely are. They include him in everything. They get him in the huddle. They high five him. So I think it's just a really, really cool opportunity for those kids to kind of further that tradition of what Ernie was, that popular athlete that went on to play and kind of, he did everything right. And it's really, really important for us to remember him.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This is continuing on that same like train of thought. How is having a role model important, and how has Ernie Davis kind of helped fill this role model position?
The reason why people need or want role models is it gives you answers to situations you occur in your life. You're going down life and there's a fork in the road, right? You can go down one path or you can go down the other. And sometimes one path is right and the other path is wrong. And I think if you have a role model that you look up to and believe in and really, really try to emulate him, I think that helps you make the right choice, helps you, or at least gives you a why of the reason you made a choice. And I tell the kids all the time, you're role models to my kids. So, let's keep in the back of our head the type of language we use, the manners, the respect, all the little things, holding the door open for somebody, picking up some trash on our way from practice into the locker room. I really do believe those small things accumulate. They add up, really kind of shape your life. Having a role model helps you navigate through your life.
Okay, thank you. The football team is named Elmira Express after Ernie Davis. Do you feel that legacy at all? Do you feel kind of the impact of that name?
100%. This is probably nonsense, but this is the way, I feel, every time, we're taking a family trip and we stop at the railroad to let the train go by, it kind of reminds me, it's a reminder of, oh man, there's the Express, it's Ernie Davis, it's a reminder always of kind of what we are. We're not a school that just kind of got a nickname from out of the blue. We're not Trojans or Spartans, and I'm not saying none of that is not important, but the Express name is very historical. There's reasons why, and I think it's really, really important, especially for the kids from our area. Again, it's something to believe in. Every year we get the sweatshirts and the jackets, and our kids wear our stuff with pride, and it's the reason why. There's belief behind the name. There's reasons why we are the Express.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything you want to talk about more?
I'd like to say something along the lines of just how important I think sports are. So, obviously Ernie Davis was a multi-sport athlete: lacrosse, basketball, track, football. And I think the reasons why sports are so important, it kind of takes away, some of the things like your first question, some of the social movements going on that the popular athletes are really supporting and are behind, at least for the game, 4 quarters, some of that stuff can kind of be not involved. We have a lot of kids with a lot of different backgrounds, ranging from economic status. We have, all over the place. But for when we practice football, when we play football games, none of that matters. Everybody's an equal. It is straight up, who's the best running back? Okay, he's the guy. Who's the best lineman? Okay, he's the guy. It doesn't matter what the status of your family might be or what you did last year. I really, really think that's important. And I also think that's something kind of Ernie Davis was about too, with athletics, as far as really, really allowing yourself to stand out in other ways that you might not be able to.
Awesome. That was great. Second to last question. What's the most significant thing you've learned from your experiences as a coach?
Sometimes as a coach, you need to kind of be quiet and listen to the kids. A lot of the times we are teaching on the field. Coaching is just an extension of the classroom. We're teaching them plays. We're teaching them X and O's. We're trying to teach them how to be a young man, a positive role model in the community. But sometimes if you just kind of close your mouth and listen to the kids have some pertinent stuff to talk about also. We had a scenario where we always made this call. We had a player that spoke up, and I'm glad he had the courage to do this. It makes me feel good that kids are able to speak, and he made a comment, he made a suggestion, and by golly, we did it, and it made sense to us, and and it worked for us, and we've been using it ever since. And that was 5 or 6 years ago. I think if you do it right and you're building a good culture where, yeah, you're going to do a lot of the leading, but hopefully you're turning your men into some leaders as well. And there was a chance that we picked up on some of our kids' stuff. So
Awesome. Final question. How do you relate to Ernie Davis? And are there any experiences that you could have possibly shared?
first thing that comes to mind, I mean, I know it's, probably not that important, but Ernie wasn't, born in Elmira. Ernie moved in here, and it was kind of the same scenario for me. I was in Pennsylvania for my younger years. I moved here when I was 8 or 9 or something. But I think the other part that really is similar between him and I is the love for sports. Sports gives me something to do. I have a young family, and my kids, thank goodness, are loving sports and involved in sports. It gives me and my kids another avenue to spend time with each other. And not only do you, I love sports, I love competing, and I love the work ethic. I love the preparation that you spend. If you want to buy a car and the car's $10,000, man, it might take you a little bit, but you're disciplined and saving your money every week, and finally the end result, you get to buy the car. The same thing with sports. If you got a game on Saturday, man, you're starting the preparation on Sunday, and then the practices come, and the meetings and the lifting, and it's the preparation. And then when that thing comes together, man alive, is that a great feeling. Super, super awesome feeling. Yeah, I do that with the high school kids, and I also coach my younger kids kind of in the off season in baseball and basketball and whatnot. So it's been super, super fun. I will tell you one thing that I'm not like Ernie. Ernie was a heck of an athlete. He's got me on that by a lot. So one thing we do talk about, and I would like to share this as coaches, and we even talk about it with our players. We're like, man, what would it be like if Ernie Davis was still alive? What would it be like if Ernie Davis was around and able to come to a game and able to kind of, maybe speak to the kids once a year and just, think about the history and the time we spend talking about him now, since he's passed. We talk about it all the time. And man, it would be so much more, as far as involvement. I know Ernie would be with us through thick and thin. But we talk about that all the time, and it's something we never overlook.
That kind of brings this interview to a close. Thank you so much for joining me.